My name is Anthony Tone Show Nunez, and today I'm reviewing Black Summer. Let's talk about it. There's going to be a lot of spoilers in this. If you have not seen it, click off right now because I will be spoiling things for you. You have yourself a zombie series here, which I was really attracted to because you guys know I love zombies, right? Zombies is definitely my thing. So when I saw this, I'm like, oh, great, another Walking Dead. This is nothing like The Walking Dead, okay? Black Summer is the complete opposite of The Walking Dead. While Z Nation has its own tone and knows exactly what it wants to be, Black Summer knows exactly what it wants to be too. And it's nothing like Z Nation or The Walking Dead. The pacing on this show is incredible. It's like the minute you jump in, this show does not stop. This is one of the great things about the show, that it's just non-heart stopping adventure, right? You're always going from one scene to another. There's always a zombie running at you. The zombies in this show, as you guys saw, they're not slow-moving zombies. They're very fast. They're gonna get you. They're like World War Z zombies. So it really doesn't leave a lot of time to stop and discuss stuff. You have to run. At the beginning of the series, I really liked how they framed it, that everybody's viewpoint kept telling a different part of the story. So a character would interact with another character or a zombie, and later on we would see the viewpoint of that zombie or that character. Like, that was really interesting how they set up those first few episodes. They didn't carry it through the whole series, which I thought would have been kind of maybe a little bit too much, but it was interesting at the beginning. Now, as far as characters, you really don't have to know much. It's a very small cast, and we really don't get to know them at all, right? This show, I kept thinking in my head, like, because honestly, The Walking Dead is kind of like the staple right now, and I was comparing it to that the whole time. I'm like, this is so different than Walking Dead. The Walking Dead, you get so much time with the characters, and there's so many conversations that you really get to grow a relationship with them and who they are as people. Here, there was no time. Like, one of the benefits of the show is that it's so hard pacing. There's always running from one scene to another, and that was one of the negatives. Also, we really never got to know these people. You really never got to really know their soul, like who they are, because there was always a zombie coming at them or situation that was changing. They even had a character that she didn't speak any English, Sun, which I thought was a very interesting choice. She was stuck in the zombie apocalypse with everybody else, but she couldn't communicate, so it was very tough for her. And besides that, we really don't get really deep into any of the characters. The main character, you would say, is Rose, because she's trying to find her daughter throughout all this, trying to get to the stadium. All the characters are trying to get to a stadium. The stadium is refuge. It's a safe place for them. We don't know why. They never say why the stadium is so secure. And by what we see at the end of the series, this first season, the stadium didn't seem that secure to me. It seemed abandoned, basically. But we really don't get into the depth of any character. It was very shallow, the whole show, but nonetheless, it managed to keep my attention. And even though it was 8 episodes, it felt like it passed really quick, like, because the pacing of the show is just incredible. Non-stop thrill ride, this show. And that's a good thing and a bad thing. It really worked against it because, like I said, you really never get to dive into any of the real characters. You really don't know what the motivation is between these people. And there was really no story arc, really, for none of these characters. Well, we can say that Rose became a little bit more fierce, right? Because she killed those 2 military guys who came for spears. One could say that that's her arc, that she got to the point where I'll do anything in this world to survive. And that was a little bit different from the beginning, but there was really no big arc. Like Spears, for example, didn't have a character arc at all. That wasn't even his name, really. That was the name of the guy he killed, right? The military dude. So we really don't see no arc for his character. Sun, what's her arc? That she didn't speak English at the beginning and that she was in a horrifying situation, and at the end, she didn't speak English either. There was really no development in the characters. It really didn't. The pacing of the show really didn't allow for that, honestly, and that definitely worked against it. I really didn't see a plot. Period. The whole show is basically we gotta get to the stadium, and that's basically it. There's nothing more to this show than that. And if you jump in and just accept it, like when I finally got to the point when they stopped showing those interesting viewpoint switches, the way they were telling the story, when they stopped doing that, I kind of just felt into hey, this is what it's gonna be. There's gonna be these like real quick closing when they say a couple words like school, death, chat, and then they're gonna talk about it. The school episode I found kind of interesting because how long were these kids in that school that they developed like this Lord of the Flies mentality? Meanwhile, all the other characters were running around like they'd never seen a zombie before. They didn't even really figure out the fact you got to shoot them in the head. Besides Spears, nobody was aiming for the head on this show. And they were taking like 5 shots to the body, and they kept coming. Nobody could figure this out. The characters, even at one point when they were stuck in that diner, they went out there and tried to bludgeon them with random objects. So nobody really was really quick on the uptake of how to take these zombies down. But these kids became whole Lord of the Flies inside their school by themselves for how long was it? A few weeks? Come on. I didn't see how could they de-evolve so quickly into this situation. I know kids adapt quick, but come on. And everybody else, they just seem so confused in this world. So I thought that was kind of a disconnect there with those characters. And there were some characters who just kept making stupid choices, right? Who bangs on some type of I don't know, like a drum when you know you're being quiet because killer zombies and killer kids are chasing you, right? Like these choices just didn't make any sense. You saw the part when the group was gonna go into the to that club to get weapons, and basically Rose's plan was to get raped. Like I don't see how she expected to get out of that room with that gropey grapey guy. Like what was her plan to get out of there? There was no plan. It was basically we're gonna get in, we're gonna get these guns, and Rose is gonna get raped. Was that the plan? I just kept thinking like this is just stupid. The people who made it out to the last episode, it was just sheer luck. It wasn't because anybody was planning or making any type of moves. There was no adaptations. Even when Spears finally convinced Rose, like, "Hey, I'm gonna take you to your daughter," there was no arc for him. We didn't learn anything. And why would these military men be caring about loot or any type of like stash that Spears has if it's the apocalypse? Where are you gonna spend it? It made no sense to me. It made no sense. There were so many holes in this that I didn't see why people were doing these choices. I don't know why people were making these choices. I gotta give my props to these actors. I think the actors did a great job. Everybody in the cast did a great job with what they had. I don't think this lacked anything because of acting. I really think it was just basically short-sighted as far as the writing, the script. It just wasn't there. But I think the actors did a great job with the material they were given. Everybody did their thing. The fact that they chose to do these really fast-running zombies, and you just really felt like these people were really terrified and they were really in fear of the life. And the actress who played Sun, I think she did a great job as well, because I understand the words she was saying, but a lot of times I just felt their fear, right? So all the actors, there was a very small cast, they all did a great job. I do not think that anybody who says, hey, this show's not great, is not because of the acting. Even at the end, guys, when Rose finally gets to the stadium, there's some random guy and Rose's daughter has a Glock and she runs at her with her gun. Like, that ending just seems so weird. Like, where was everybody at the stadium? Was there a helicopter? Were they taken out? Why were they bomb the same city if they knew that these people were in the downtown area has so many survivors? Why were they just bombing the crap out of it? And why would Rose's daughter know to stay at the stadium with this random guy that they're coming? Like, that just seems so random. I understand there was a lot of survivors and she had to, like, panic, in a panic, go through everybody, like, hey, you see my daughter, you see my daughter? But no, that wasn't the case. Like, it was just her and some random guy. Like, if she knew that she was coming for her. That seemed like I don't know, that ending was really random for me. Like, it didn't make any sense for me. And the way that characters died in the last episode was just very like random also. Like, I know zombies is random, anybody could die, but it just seemed very like there was no purpose to it at all. It just seemed very random. People were just getting killed off for no reason. All of a sudden everybody's really handy and they're just shooting the hell out of each other. The ringing of the ears everywhere because people were just shooting guns right next to each other. It was kind of crazy. So as a show, I gotta say I appreciate for what it is. It really knows what it is. It's a fast-paced zombie, no apologies take series. So I respect that. But if you went in here thinking something else, you were gonna be disappointed. Once I settled into the fact that this was not gonna be some in-depth storytelling, there was basically just gonna be like some really fast-paced zombies, and it's all about survival. And I accepted it. I took it. I watched the whole series, and at the end of it, I wasn't that disappointed because I knew what I got in for. But anybody else who goes into this thinking they're going to get a story out of it, or character development, or there's going to be an arc for all the characters, you're going to be so disappointed and so pissed off. And since this is a spoiler review, so I'm assuming that you already seen this, so you probably are pissed off at this point. You're like, why watch this? And the whole setup basically was so rushed, and I don't know if that's because the whole pacing is rushed or there was just no thought behind it. And for those people who are saying this is a prequel to Z Nation, I just thought that the pacing and the tone is so different than Z Nation that I find it really hard to believe that this is a prequel to that. And at the same point, like some people would say, oh, Fear the Walking Dead has a very different tone than The Walking Dead. But it's not so off that you actually can combine, which they have. They brought characters across because the tone still is very similar. The tone here is not funny at all. There's no humor. It's a completely different tone than I would say Z Nation. So I don't know how this could be a prequel. If it's the same type, if it's the same world, and where all the crazy zombies that are created because of their circumstances that you encounter in Z Nation, it's nothing like that. This was very basically shoot from the hip, all in the heart, we're just moving. So at the end of the day, I'm not mad I watched this. I like zombie movies, but it's definitely not going to win any awards on character development or story or plot. So if they release season 2, if I'm really bored, I might watch it. It's on Netflix. What can I say? And when I started watching it, like I said, those first 2 episodes, I was kind of feeling it because I liked the whole interesting viewpoint of showing this character and then, the turn around and show how that character got to that point. That was interesting. But besides that, I don't know if they gave up or they just couldn't keep going. So Black Summer, which by the way, besides the fact that it was summer. Is that why they call it Black Summer? I don't know. And it didn't feel like an American town to me. Did you guys kind of get that also? It didn't feel like America. It felt like Canada for some reason. It felt like these characters were trying to act real American, but something else was kind of off for me. So Black Summer was kind of black in a lot of senses, but I still enjoyed it. And a lot of people probably are not going to enjoy it. They're going to say this is probably really ishy. So that's what my thoughts on it. What did you guys think about Black Summer? Were you pissed off that you watched it? Did you stop watching after a couple episodes? Says, you know what, this is ridiculous? Or did you just sit in and say, hey, this is what it is. Let's have some fun. As always, guys, put your comments down there in the comment section. This is the Tone Show. Tone Show? Ah. Ooh, ooh.
Remember to like and subscribe for more Tone Show.